So how did you feel when at first you were trying some poses that you couldn't do? Let's say you were trying to do some arm balances and they were not quite working right. In those early days.
Still happens.
Still helped?
Yeah.
So how do you deal with this? Hello everyone and welcome to Fitness Reloaded. I'm your hostess Maria and today I have a special guest with me. Her name is Kathryn Budig. She is a very famous yoga teacher and she will share her wisdom with us today. Hi Kathryn.
Hi Maria, how are you?
I'm awesome. Just finished my unexpected yoga practice.
Happy?
And I feel great. So Kathryn, something that has really intrigued me about you is that you often talk about goddess Diana. And as a Greek, I feel I need to ask you, what is it about her and how is she related to aiming true?
So when I was a little girl, I was a big fan of all the Greek gods and goddesses and the Titans and just all that mythology, and Artemis or Diana was always my favorite because I was a tomboy when I was a little girl, and she's the goddess of the hunt and the moon and the animals, and so she was out there, you know, getting her hands dirty and playing, and I just thought she was very powerful. And she's also the archer, so you see her with the bow and the arrow, and she just represented a lot of power for me and power for women as well. And in my older life, she came back to me, long story short, and it just reminded me to be empowered during a point in my life where I was lacking that. So I found a prayer that was written to her, and the first line of the prayer was, "Artemis, make my aim true." So that was the catalyst for my whole motto and mantra that I live by, which is aim true, and which I go around and teaching workshops and do lectures on. So it's all thanks to Artemis.
So what does it mean, aiming true, and how does it connect to yoga?
Aiming true for me is that ability, regardless of whether or not you want to set the intention of who you want to be every day, to set the intention of following what makes your heart beat, and regardless of the circumstance and regardless of whether people support you or believe in you. And it's this ability to set this intention, be who you want to be, follow what makes your heart beat, and knowing that when you do your best every day, that's how you hit your mark. So I basically go around through the yoga practice trying to empower people, not only through posture and the actual asana, but trying to show them how the connection of asana shows us how we put that kind of energy into our lives, into our relationships, into our work, into ourselves. So it's a goal to get us out of a place of fear and move into a place where we trust ourselves, where we love ourselves, and we feel strong.
This is very powerful because trusting yourself is something we need a lot of practice.
Agreed.
Because we are so used to living in fear and like having this trust that, you know, I'm gonna do this, and first even recognizing that there is something you want to do that you're not doing.
Yes.
Because many people don't realize that they're doing it, or they're not doing it, or that they want something they're not doing. Anyway, really powerful stuff. So another question I have for you is, why yoga? Like, what are the most top of mind benefits of yoga that come to your mind right now? What has yoga given you? Yoga for me allowed me to accept myself for who I was and to have loving thoughts towards myself, while other career paths told me that I was imperfect and pointed out what I lacked. So yoga has been amazing for me because I think it's just difficult to believe in yourself, period. It's difficult to not want to tear yourself apart, and it's just a very embracing lifestyle, you know, and I don't know if you can't call it a sport, you can't call it an activity, it's a lifestyle, and I love that, and I love that it's a physical activity that can take care of the physical body while still nourishing the mind and encouraging us to be less reactive and to think before we speak, and to be better friends and partners and lovers, and you don't necessarily get that from going to the gym. So it's really amazing to have something that addresses all the different departments of your life. And according to what
phase in life you're in, it's going to dive deeper into maybe a part that you haven't been in before. You know, sometimes it'll be more aggressive and fiery, and other times the practice will be more subdued, but it's going to teach you the lesson that you need according to whatever's going on at that point.
So how did you feel when at first you were trying some poses that you couldn't do? Let's say you were trying to do some arm balances and they were not quite working right. In those early days.
Still happens.
Still happens.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with this?
You know, it could be very, very frustrating, but I think the interesting part about the yoga practice is that we will always be reactive. I think it's in our nature to be reactive creatures, but when you practice a lot of yoga, you notice yourself when you're being reactive. So it's easier to reel yourself back in instead of indulging in that pity party place and indulging in the, I can't do this, why can the person next to me do it and I can't do it, and I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not flexible enough, I'm not skinny enough, blah, 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 and then the storyline comes out. So it's, I still have ego, without a doubt, and I still have judgment of myself, but I think with the years of practicing, I'm better at not sitting in it, and I'm better at not thinking I'm a bad person because I can't do something, and I think I would have thought that before. So it's just levels of maturity, I think, and getting to a point where, yeah, like I want to be able to do everything. That's my ego speaking. But if I'm not doing it, I also have gotten to a place where I trust that I'm still going to be an amazing human being and the person that I need to be to everyone in my life, whether or not I can do this pose right now. And just seeing the bigger picture. It's easy to see exactly what's in front of you.
So what I'm thinking when I cannot do something is that I don't need to do everything today.
Yeah.
There's also
you know, we forget that too, right?
Next week, you know, I don't need to achieve everything today.
That's a fabulous attitude.
Nice. So another question I have is, from your experience, because you have many yoga students, what do you think people who make yoga habits do differently than those who don't?
So someone who has more of a routine, you mean?
Yes, someone who gets to incorporate yoga in their lives versus someone who has not yet achieved that. Maybe they're coming to a few classes and then they stop, and then they'll drop by a few months later.
You know, everyone's so different. I think some people need yoga every single day and some people don't. And you've got your type A personalities and they need to get their yoga, they need to get it in. And sometimes what serves a personality like that is actually to maybe do yoga 4 times a week instead of every single day, to reach out and not have to be a perfectionist. And but then there are the people who are maybe more kind of couch potato-y, who could use that extra little kick in the pants so that they have more discipline in their life. And I was just talking about this earlier today, how it's really difficult to find a mix of how do you inspire someone without oppressing them, or how to keep someone motivated without knocking them down because they don't feel like they're doing enough. So, some people say you have to practice yoga every day. I don't agree with that. I think that yoga is there when you need it, and that it can easily become another form of a prison if you turn it into that, because you have to do it, and then you just feel guilt if you don't do it, and then that's not serving you. But, finding a point so that you're doing enough yoga that you feel good and you feel balanced and you feel strong, but you don't feel depleted and you don't feel guilty. So I think according to each individual, adjust so that you feel balanced, whatever that is for your type.
I believe that it's not about, let's say, doing yoga every day. It's about moving our bodies somehow every day. I think that for most of us, moving comes out naturally, whether we listen to this urge or not. And then, it's our choice what we want to do. Maybe we want to take a walk, maybe we just want to get up and go a small stretch, or maybe we want to go to yoga and spend an hour and a half.
Yeah. No, I agree. Physical activity every day is great, whether it's walking your dog, or I like Pilates classes, I like bar method, I like to hike, I'm trying to get into swimming. I mean, it feels good to move.
Yes,
but I try not to tell myself I have to do this or it doesn't work, because that really strict regimen is almost too much.
I believe when we feel we have to do something, then we naturally rebel against it.
Yeah, totally.
Because I think deep inside we know we don't really have to do anything. So we're like, you're messing with me. I don't need to do anything. I don't want to do this, and get away from me.
Do what makes you happy.
Okay, nice. And I have a final question for you.
Yes.
And assuming that people watch this interview at the start of their day, what advice will you give them for the rest of the day? Is there a personal guru?
Oh, such big words.
Sorry, no pressure.
You know, that live this day without expectation, and set the intention of what really matters to you right now. And no matter what comes up, whether people are being wonderful towards you or horrible towards you, just remember what those core feelings were that you felt at the beginning of your day. Like, this is what's important to me, and this is what I want to get out of this day. And if you just hold on to those feelings and make sure that that's the catalyst and the fire that's burning through you throughout the day, you can deflect anything that comes your way. Just deflect, and stay true, aim true to what's really important to you. And tomorrow's another day. You don't have to get everything done today, but plant the seeds, do your best, have fun, laugh, smile, enjoy. Remember that your attitude will directly affect others and how important that is. So it really pays off if you can go out into the world and smile and laugh versus grimacing and making someone else feel uncomfortable. But one day at a time, and just go do your best.
That's great advice. I try to do this every day.
Yeah,
but
me too.
I have a question. You said don't have expectations, but set an intention.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example?
I think, have expectation of like, this is going to be the best day of my life, and I'm going to see this person, and this is going to happen. So letting go of needing like these tangible results, and just set the intention, like a core feeling at the center of your body. Like, what do you need to give off? What do you need to feel? Like, what are those things that's important to you? And if it's really like what's coming from your heart, and that's the center of everything, versus my day is only going to be good if I have that piece of chocolate cake. Like, if you wrap your entire day around that piece of chocolate cake, and God forbid you don't get to have the chocolate cake, then your day is going to be ruined. But that's not the core feeling. The core feeling is like the emotion that I'll get from eating that cake. So how can I evoke that and make that still strong, regardless of whether or not I get the cake? You see what I mean?
I see.
I think people hang on too deeply to these tangible needs and events, and we need to let go more of that and just like go out there and be open, because life is tricky and slippery and funny and unexpected. So don't be too attached to the results, because you just don't know what you're going to get today. Hopefully good, but if it's bad, there's going to be a really good lesson packed behind it.
Nice. I like that. So you cannot get it wrong.
No such thing. No such thing.
It's either going to be good or it will be bad, but there's a lesson behind it, so everything's good.
It's all good.
I love this. What a great way to finish an interview.
Oh,
always
awesome.
Good.
Thank you for the great questions.
You're welcome. So if you like Kathryn Budig, you can find her at Yoga Glow and practice with her. I started doing it a week ago.
Oh, awesome.
And where else can people find you?
You can go to my website, which is kathrynbudig.com, or you can look me up on Facebook or my Twitter account. And if you have any questions, you can send those over to me, and I would be happy to get back to you.
Okay, awesome. And she's very responsive to emails. I have to provide a testimonial here.
Thank you.
So thank you all for watching. If you like this episode, please share with your friends on Facebook and Twitter. And I'll catch you again next time. Bye-bye. If you like this video, then make sure you subscribe. So this is how it works.